Hello everyone, and welcome to a little game that I fucking adore called Remnant. Now, if you don't know what Remnant is, have you been living under a fucking rock? Remnant is a third-person action game developed by Gunfire Games that has basically been referred to as Dark Souls with guns. Now, it's a little more nuanced than that, but hey, I mean, it's the basic generalization of the game. Anywho, it's a game I fucking thoroughly enjoy, and as you can see by my playtime on one character, I like the game a little. Anyway, I'm going to be doing something today that I'm probably going to regret. I'm going to start a new file, but with a twist. Said new file will be a little challenge. I'm going to see if I can beat Remnant start to finish, including subject to 923, with only the starting weapons and armor. Rings will be interchangeable. I can change out my rings and amulet, but I can only use the starting weapons and starting armor. Now you may be asking, like, can I upgrade the weapons? Can I upgrade the armor? Can I do any of that nonsense? Yes, I can. I can upgrade as much as I fucking want. A plus 20, everything, right? But I can only use that equipment. Change out the rings, change out the amulet, fine, handy. I can only use starting weapons and armor. I can also only use the starting mods. So, for example, if I'm cultist, I can only use the healing circle. If I'm, well, also the good boy. I can use the good boy because you start with good boy. But, like for example, with the scrapper, I can only use the heat rounds. And so on and so forth. So, I'm going to give it a whirl, see how it fucking goes. Oh boy, this is going to be rough. Alright, now, this choice is going to be very important. Because with Hunter, I get a very good starting mod for damage. However, my healing is going to be very limited. With ex-cultist, my healing is going to be great, but my offensive options are going to be very limited. Because my primary weapon is only going to have 2 shots, and it's close range. And as you'll know with some bosses later on, this is going to be a problem. And it's the same with the Scrapper. The Scrapper is going to be decently defensive, but again, my offense is going to be very limited. The heat rounds, great. Mwah, pristine. But his range is limited, like the ex-cultist. So I think we're going to have to go with the choice of the Hunter. Because even though I'll have limited healing options, I can always just dodge everything. You know, like a fucking pro, dude. I've played this game enough. I should know how to dodge, right? This is the moment where I cut to a clip of me getting fucking shanked constantly. Oh, you do actually. Oh, shit. Ah, fuck! But anyway, I'm going to be choosing the Hunter. Because he'll give me the range I need, and he also has a fucking superb mod that will help out quite a lot. Alright, now let's fucking get into it and see how this goes. See all this equipment? Get used to it. Because this is all we got. Until we get an amulet and some rings. But this is all we got to use. Arguably, this weapon is not terrible. And with the Mark mod, which increases my crit chance by 10%, and also marks every fucking enemy near me, is gonna be great. The shit's gonna be cash money. On top of the 10% crit chance on the weapon, we're already off to a wonderful start. This fucking mod for the good boy is gonna be great, because that way we have some decent crowd control. Because the dog will not only act as damage, but also the enemies sometimes will attack him. So he'll act as a distraction for us to, get some damage in. And we get more weak spot damage with the armor. But our fucking defense is, let's just say garbage. To say the least. But we have good dodge chance. We get dodge because we have light encumbrance, so that should help quite a bit for mitigating damage. Remnant, how I've missed you. Just as fucking desolate and bleak as I remember.
Here they come.
My aim is just as bad as I remember. Ooh, ammo boxes. Those are gonna be freaking dandy. Very freaking dandy. I'm gonna need like millions of those at some point. Boy, you're a chonky boy. Oh, there he is. Big chonk himself. Somebody behind me. Oh, fuck. Oh my god. Okay, this is turning into a problem. Okay. One key thing I'd like to mention, by the way, is that weak spot damage is not the same as crit damage. It's a common misconception by some people who start out this game thinking that that red number always means crit. That's not always the case. That red number just means you hit a weak spot. Your crit number is just going to be a number that's slightly bigger than your normal damage number. Like, for example, I hit him for 150 damage in the weak spot. However, that wasn't a crit. Now, since my crit is 50% bonus damage, my crit will look more like something like around 220 damage when I hit a weak spot like that. Let's see if... There we are. See, that right there was my crit. That was not a normal weak spot hit. That was a crit. That was my normal weak spot damage. There is a difference. And having bonus weak spot damage and bonus crit damage is very, very useful. It also depends on what kind of build you want to go for, which one would be a better thing to have. Having better weak spot damage is always good. However, there are some enemies that don't have weak spots or have weak spots that are protected and take a lot of gunfire to expose, and by the time you expose that weak spot, it's pointless to have the bonus damage at that point. So it really just depends on what you're fighting, whether or not weak spot damage would be better to have or crit damage would be better to have, like crit chance or shit like that. But in early game, weak spot damage is always good to have, because the early enemies have very obvious weak spots. Their freaking face, so you could just easily shoot their face, get some good damage, and move on, be on your way. Now, another thing you have to get used to when playing Remnant is destroying literally any fucking wooden object you can freaking find. Because scrap is your money. And money is everything in this freaking game. Because everything gets very, very pricey very fast. Also, you can get iron out of stuff like wooden boxes and stuff like that. So, not only can you get currency, but you also can get upgrade materials, which are very, very, very helpful and are going to be very helpful for us as well, because we are not going to have any freaking boss weapons or anything like that to help us out. So, upgrades are very, very key right now. There we go. I just picked up a Tome of Knowledge, which is also another useful thing in this game. So when you level up in this game, you don't upgrade any stats or anything like that. Nothing increases. However, you gain a trait point, which you can also obtain by grabbing Tomes of Knowledge scattered about the map, randomly generated, as this game is also not preset. It is random, procedurally generated. So item spawns, events, everything, even bosses, are procedurally generated. So you never get the same two runs. Like, you never get the same same run twice. Blech, words. Anyway, trait points, of course, will help you increase your traits. Now, right now, I only have 3 traits, but as you do certain things in the game, and as you get further and further into the game, you'll unlock more traits that you can spend these trait points into. Traits are basically, you basically infinitely level up in the game to get trait points. However, your traits can only go up to a certain level, level 20. So, for example, if I level up my vigor up to 20, which is 25, it was one of those two. If I upgrade it up to its max level, that's it. It is at max. And you can't go any further. So there's only a certain amount of boost you can get from each trait. Now, traits can range from health, stamina, enemy awareness, like I have right now, or you can get ones that increase your weak spot damage, you can get ones that increase your crit damage, you can get ones that increase your healing efficiency, ones that give you bonus XP when next to teammates, which is co-op only, of course. A wide range of stuff. But all of them have this same level cap. So you can either choose to save your points until you have a talent you really want, or you can just spend early and, max out some of your early skills as quickly as possible. And that was my weak spot damage put in freaking work. That freaking that mini boss enemy freaking went down in 2 hits. Rather, not really a mini boss, but more like a elite enemy, so to speak. Which you'll see a lot of in this game. You'll see a lot of elite enemies. Some of them are easy, like that one where you just shoot in the head and it basically just went down like no problem. Some are more sophisticated, requiring more advanced tactics to take down. Ooh, there's a big boy coming. Oh, it's the fucking gunner. This guy is a pain in the ass. This is one of those elite enemies that requires a bit of smart use of cover and also requires a bit more than hitting the weak spot a couple times and it just dying. That one I had to rely more on brute force to kill, and also making sure I made myself a smaller target so that it couldn't hit me. Alright, so this is our first boss fight. Now, there are only 2 bosses that you can get at the start of the game. There is a ranger type boss, and then there is a big bruiser melee type boss, which is basically just a bigger version of that bruiser enemy from earlier, the giant sword. But he's stronger, and he has certain ad support. Now, the ad support in question can make this boss very difficult for players that are new to the game, and still sort of difficult to even players that have played the game. Because the ad support he has is an enemy that can quickly overwhelm you and cause issues in the long term. As you can see, it's those exploding guys from earlier. Now, at certain intervals of his health bar, he'll spawn them. However, if you can lock him into doing the charge attack, he sometimes won't spawn them. However, I didn't get to lock him into the charge attack, so he still spawned them. Now this enemy also, this ad enemy, also introduces the mechanic of root rot. Root rot is a special, like, infection, pretty much, that prevents you from doing actions while under the effect of it. Like, for example, shooting, sometimes you'll just stop shooting and start coughing. When you try to use an item, sometimes you'll just won't use the item, and you'll just cough instead. Stuff like that. And just like that, first boss down.
Whoa. It's over.
It's a tricky boss, but mainly only because of the ads, in my opinion. But it's a good first boss to teach you like how the mechanics of the bosses will work from now on. Because most bosses, not all of them, most of them will have ad support. And a decent roster of bosses will also be mostly just normal elite enemies souped up in boss form. Now sometimes they'll have also random affixes to them that enhance some of their abilities. Some of them will have extra health, some of them will have more damage, some of them will sometimes even regen health, so on and so forth. So you gotta pay attention to their affix and plan accordingly in some cases. But first boss down, time to move on. Ooh. Here is a random event. One that not every playthrough will have. This tree is a root tree, which is connected to those enemies that we've been fighting, which look like. Now, there's 2 things we can do. We can leave this tree alone, just let it mind its own business. Or we can kill it. Now, we're not going to kill it this run because it doesn't give us anything that we can use, really, because it's kind of pointless. But in your run, you might think differently. You might think, hey, I'm going to kill this tree and see what happens. I'm just, just get its item. And that's perfectly okay. It gives you an alright item for early game and helps like ease you into the later stuff. It's decent enough, and it even gives you some XP too. Now, why don't I? You're probably asking, why don't I just kill it for the XP then? Because we're not really gonna need the XP, to be honest. Because XP isn't really gonna help our scaling later. Because we're only going to be upgrading a certain few attributes anyway. And you'll know them once we get them.
Whoa. It's over.
Aggressor's Bane is actually pretty bad. I don't really want that. That right there is, unfortunately, one of the effects of the procedural generation of this game is sometimes you get items like that which are not exactly useful for your builds or anything like that. And hell, you might not even get it on a first run through, and you might have to play through again to get the items that you need for your build. It's a blessing and a curse. I personally like it, but I can see how it, you know, is not as appealing to a lot of people. To have to basically pray to the RNG gods for items that you need for your set build or weapon that you're using. Oh dear. Oh fuck. Oh god. That was
rough.
Yeah, agreed. That was a little rough. That was a bit sloppier than I intended. But hey, we got through, so it doesn't fucking matter, honestly. Oh, this fucking thing. Oh no. Well, I killed it quickly at least. That thing could be an issue. Because if it would have grabbed me, that would have taken off a chunk of my health. And at the health that I'm at right now, it actually would have killed me. And since I haven't gotten to a crystal in a while, that would have set me back quite a bit. So that thing was actually pretty fucking scary. Oh, not you again. No, stop. Stop what you're doing. Cool. Those enemies, as you saw from earlier, those enemies are basically like screeching enemies. I don't remember what their exact names are, but whenever they screech, they spawn more root mobs to your location and basically are there to just swarm you. And if they scream next to you, they will cause you to be in this sort of stunned state where you can't really do anything, which makes it easier for the swarm to attack you and, you know, whittle you down. They're quite dangerous if not taken care of quickly. Oh god. Oh shit. Ooh, that could have been fucking scary.
I hope I don't get lost.
I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Get out of here. Fuck this place. I don't want to be here anymore. Alright. Now, here is one of the scripted events that will happen. This event is guaranteed. No matter your playthrough, this event you will always have. But we're gonna go back and upgrade first before we go to this event, because this event is slightly hectic and could be a problem if we are using only level fucking 0 gear. So we're gonna go back and we're gonna upgrade our gear, and hopefully we'll be able to stand a chance.
Yeah, get it.
And win. Now we just clicked our loot. Now, from here, you get a new trait, which is, it's a decently handy trait. It makes it so that you take less damage from ranged attacks, which is really good for certain bosses and certain enemies. However, it's not necessary, because I mean, just dodge Lamau if you don't want to level this. Now, another thing in this zone that is completely optional and some people will miss if they don't explore is that there is a side room over here. You'll probably have noticed it already. You probably noticed it already during my defense segment. But over here is a weapon, and also some breakables for some extra scrap if you want. But following down here, all the way down the staircase here, there is 2 items over here. Now, this is not what we're here for. We're here for that glow over there. Break this box, and you'll be able to obtain the sniper rifle. Now, the sniper rifle is, as you know, name states, it's a marksman weapon, and it only has 1 shot. However, that 1 shot is very powerful, and with the right build, that fucking shot can deal insane amounts of damage. However, since we're using only starting weapons, that rifle is useless to us. So we're just gonna move on and pretend like we didn't just grab that weapon. It's just gonna sit there in our inventory, taking up space. But just thought I'd let you know in case you're new to Remnant and need a decently powerful weapon. But be careful, it does require you to be able to hit your fucking shots, and also it relies heavily on weak spot hits. So if you're not really good at precision hits on the weak spots, it's not the best weapon, but it still does a good amount of damage even if you don't hit the weak spot. So maybe you'll still serve you some good. I think that is where we'll end today's episode. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again in the next one. Bye-bye for now.